Welcome back to Frontside Press, where it's Jeff and Mike. That's it. The two of us.
That's all you need. That's all you need. At least it's us. The last couple of weeks ain't been nobody. So I'm not even sure. Did we even advertise that we were coming back this week? Does anybody even know? They probably still think we're all on vacation or something. Sweet. Right, but did anybody ever give them the update?
That was the update.
The update is they should just get their notification on Facebook.
There it is.
Yeah. Great.
And we got peeps watching already.
We are back. Good. Well, they didn't abandon us then after a couple of weeks. Yeah, we just had to take a couple of weeks off. I had my little daughter, as most people know on here, Kara, because she's been on the show numerous times. Well, back at the studio days. Graduated 5th grade. So apparently a big honor these days. When we were kids, like, you didn't get jack shit until you graduated high school, and then they gave you the diploma and said, have a nice day. Now they have graduations for pre-K, kindergarten, 5th grade, middle school. Like, it's ridiculous. But anyway, you have to participate in it. You can't be like, I disagree with this. Every kid gets a trophy society, so you're not going to your 5th grade graduation when everybody else goes. So I had to go to 5th grade graduation last week, so I could not go to the show. We didn't do it the week before either. We did it the week before. It was just last week that we missed. No, wait. Because last week was the parking lot show, so nobody could go to that. So poor Julie, I think, got left out there. I guess the week before that we did have a show because we were talking about the parking lot show.
Yep. I think you're right.
So we only missed a week then. Well, here we are. Welcome. Frontside Press. Every Thursday around 8-ish, Mike and Jeff. Follow us on Facebook. Like, share, subscribe. Follow us and me on Musings with MGL. On YouTube, please subscribe. I picked up a couple more subscribers, so I'm eking closer to 1,000. Apparently, people, I don't have a big enough head to think that the algorithm is targeting me, but I gave out the address. We did a seminar recently at a local gun show, and I gave out the Musings with MGL address, and people were literally typing that into their phones on YouTube, and like my channel wasn't coming up. It never comes weird. Up it wasn't there. Yeah, and I was even at a birthday party or something a couple of weeks ago, and some friends were doing the same thing. Like, I had to take their phone and type it in and couldn't find it, so I have to direct send them the link to the show. So I don't know why when you search my name in the YouTube it doesn't come up. So I'm going to pretend like I'm one of the big boys and YouTube's coming after me and my channel's in trouble. So there you go. That's YouTube's problem. But if you open up YouTube and just go into the search bar and type in Musings with MGL, because it's such a smaller channel, it won't come up as a channel? Yeah. Well, but there aren't anybody else called Musings with, so I should still be high on the list, but who knows? No. I'm going to go with F YouTube. They don't like our content, and they're coming after us with the algorithm.
That's what's going on.
There you go. I'm on the list. I'm on the government list.
Congratulations. Welcome to the club.
I'm sure there's quite a few lists that I'm on these days.
All right, everybody get their beverage. We'll toast in a second.
You don't have a beverage? That's right. Oh, you do? All right. Well, do the toast. Or are you just waiting for more people to log on?
Yeah, because
are we up to ones of followers?
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame that on the YouTube algorithm too, and the Facebook algorithm, because you guys went from reaching 600 and something thousand worldwide or whatever to now we're getting like 7 people per show. I don't know what happened to your channel.
We were 666,000 people in 28 days is how many we were reaching. and then it went to $250,000, then it dropped to 125, and that was in like a week.
Shit, I'll take 125. It's better than 7. There are YouTube channels out there that would kill for 125,000 people watching their videos.
Yep.
So we got to figure out what happened there and see if we can get back to it. But let's do a toast. You got a Memorial Day toast there for the fallen, or is it just unrelated?
The Julie sheet of toast.
The go-to.
So may the roof above us never fall in, and may we as friends never fall out. Prost.
We are coming into hurricane season again, so that's probably an appropriate toast about roofs falling in. We'll see. Hopefully we'll have a clean one this year. So how you been, man? Setting aside any of your personal issues, how's the new enterprise coming along? People still coming for training? What's new in your world?
Classes are good. Of course, I haven't been able to do anything for the last 2 weeks. But we got some classes coming up in June. We're probably going to do a rifle class. We got the 150 round concealed weapons class coming up on the 4th. I think there's one spot left on that. That's a 6.5 hour class, 150 rounds. We're gonna get a rifle class in, so we'll probably do a regular rifle class, and then we'll do a second level rifle class a couple weeks later. But people are still calling me.
That was always my big concern when they passed the new law, that you guys would see your business go through the toilet. I've said it before, when they passed all the new trust stuff, I went from doing 20 trusts a week to now I do like 3 or 4 a month. Like, it just fell off when Obama passed all those. There actually weren't antitrust rules. They actually meant that you didn't need a trust anymore. You could do it on your own, which as a Second Amendment supporter is great. As as somebody has mortgage to pay, it sucks. But I was afraid that was going to happen to you guys when they pass that. But it's good.
No, I think there's more people buying guns. Well, yes. One of the big things is that they really push our classes at Shark Coast. So we have cards up. They asked me if I could bring cards over there and put some cards in, and they really push people into training, which I'm very thankful for.
All the gun shops should do that. I do it as a lawyer. All the gun shops and gun lawyers should do that for sure.
Yep. It's it's always the same old thing that I bitch about. It's the whole, people think that possessing something gives them, experience, and it doesn't. It's a perishable skill, first of all, so you got to be training all the time. And if you're going to be proficient with it, it's more than just going and standing in one position and shooting a box of ammo. Because I hear this shit all the time, and I try to bite my tongue, and what I try to do is just walk off if I can get out of the conversation, where I hear people go, well, I'm pretty good. And I just want to go, no, you're fucking not. like you shoot maybe once a year. You've never been in any type of training class. Why do you think you're good? You're self-taught. All right, so your standards must be great. I got another target today. So one of my students sends me her target, and all her shots are like, hold on, let me see if I can get if we can pick it up. So it looks like that. She's upset because one's not in the red. And she's like, well, I was the best one there. I wanted to text back, no shit. Like, you're good. They're not. It's just, I love it that she shoots like that and she's upset. that all her rounds aren't in a quarter at 21 feet. You know what I mean? I
Right.
I get that all the time, So people don't understand what good actually means.
Right.
They're just satisfied if they all hit the target. Like I hope so. You're shooting at a target half the size of Manatee County at bad breath distance, and you're impressing yourself by keeping them all on the fucking paper. That's awesome. You're so good, but that's what you're dealing with out there. I'm very happy when people call me and try to explain to me that they're not comfortable or confident enough to carry concealed because they don't have any training and they want to know what I have coming up. Like I love it. I love it when people say, I want to let you know I don't have zero experience. I'm like, yeah, all that means to me is you have zero bad habits. So, you know.
Well, it's like anything else. I mean, everybody thinks that they're good at something, and they either think they're really bad at it when they're not, or they think they're really good at it when they're not. There's most people
That's
aren't
true.
like satisfied with where they're at, or have a realistic understanding of where they're at. That's in most things. Firearms. When I ride motorcycles, it's like that. You always get the group of people. I know what I'm doing. I've been riding forever, and yeah, you feel scared riding with them because they don't know what the hell they're doing, and then you
Right.
get people that have been riding forever that don't think they know, but they're actually better than most of the people out there. And I actually equate the two a lot. You get a lot of first-time motorcycle buyers that they go to the motorcycle shop, and they're looking at like 1,000cc motorcycles they've never like ridden in their life, or they come from dirt bikes, or all their buddies have fast bikes, so they got to get 1,000ccs. They haven't even taken the damn class to get the endorsement on
Yep.
their license. I get clients all the time with that. They're driving like crazy. They get pulled over. They don't have their license. They haven't done their training because they think that they can just do it because people think that they can do it, or they've done it a little bit and they think that qualifies them to jump up from their little 300 to a 1,000cc. And motorcycles are just as deadly as guns when it comes to your life, et cetera, et cetera. So you see a lot of that stuff out there in the motorcycle world too. It's crazy. But I'm glad you're doing the training. I was at the gun show. It's actually the first time I've been to a gun show, I want to say almost maybe since COVID, when they kind of shut them down. I was hoping things had changed. Things haven't changed. People still want way too much money for their stuff.
Yep.
They're still doing the classes where they're announcing over the loudspeaker, $50, be here at 1:00 behind the stadium in the stands. And it's like, what are you guys doing? I don't understand it. And those guys' business, I think, might fall off, because I do think the only reason people were quickly taking those there is because it was convenient, and they figure, well, I might as well go ahead and get a license. Now that they don't need one, I think you might see a lot of the convenient people wanting classes go away, but you're going to see the more dedicated ones that want to take the longer classes with the more experienced trainers go up, because they realize that now there's a bunch of idiots out there that don't have any training at all. Hopefully,
I just got a text from my boy Jamie. He's like, I want the last spot. So he wants the last spot in the class.
Oh, sweet.
Like he was in week training, stuff like that. He knows what he's doing.
Is this in a first timers class, meaning they've never shot before, and this is what they would do to get their certificate? Okay.
Yeah.
And even though he already hasn't and has done classes, he wants to come do more.
It's our intro to gunfighting class, so it's our first step.
Right.
And we add law to it to make it legal for, so that people understand
they get the certificate as well. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of us going shorter, we went longer, added, instead of 1 to 5 rounds, it's 150 rounds.
Right.
It's an hour lecture, and then the rest of it's on the range. So like when we run classes, our beginning classes, like our first couple levels are, it's for every 2 students, there's 1 instructor. So everyone on the line that is shooting has their own instructor. So while they shoot, their partner loads, and then they switch. So everybody has an instructor with them, which I guess is unheard of. But I'm just blessed to have a bunch of great instructors.
Right.
So,
well, that's like anything else. That's the key. Having the good instructors. So yeah, so that's still going on out there. The new law is still coming up. We got the countdown. Oh, speaking of laws, as a reminder to everybody, May 31st is your last day on your brace. If you do not have your request, your Form 1, if you don't have your Form 1 sent in by May 31st, on June 1st, you are a felon in possession of a NFA item, which is 15 years in prison. So just a nice little friendly reminder. There has been no injunction issued. In fact, a couple of them went in front of judges and they refused to issue injunctions. So as of this point, as we stand here today, I'm unaware of any injunctions that have been put in place to stop this brace rule from going into effect. So today's the 25th, so you got 6 days. By this day next week, you'll be a felon. You either have to have the Form 1 in with a stamp approval pending, or you had to have disassembled the brace from your pistol. Fair warned.
yeah, I've taken all my braces off.
Mm-hmm. I never had any. If I did, they sank in the boating accident.
Yep.
Yeah, no, you got to have them off. No, people are still. I gave that seminar a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, and yeah, people were still confused about it. Didn't know what was going on. There's still people on Facebook trying to sell them, like with the braces on the pistol, trying to sell them. And I'm tired of trying to explain to these people that you can't do that. It's considered an NFA item right now. The only reason you can hold it is because you're allowed to send in your paperwork by May 31st, but you can't sell it or transfer it. So people just aren't paying attention out there. It is what it is. They're warned.
So I was in the emergency room, right? And a guy on a stretcher in the hallway is telling, like, I don't know who he was talking to, right? He got attacked, and he was saying how he can carry open because of the new law. The guy was saying, I don't think that's what it is. Oh yeah, you're allowed to carry open now because of the new law. And I want to yell out, no, you fucking can't, you fucking idiot. But I didn't. I was like, you know what? He deserves to go to jail anyways.
What you should yell out is MinnesotaGunLawyer.com. Put it in your phone because you're going to have a problem.
Yep. It was funny. Yeah. He was talking to the nurses, right? And he's like, oh, I just ran like a little bitch. Oh, I was so scared. And then he's talking to his girlfriend. And he's like, I was going to die in a pile of shells. I wasn't. And I just wanted to yell out, no, you didn't. You ran like a little bitch. But,
right. He just said he ran like a little bitch.
Well, he was all badass.
And a pile of shells. How many times does he need to shoot? He needs to work on getting his bullets in the little circle if it's a pile of shells.
Well, there was a whole bunch of them that attacked him.
This sounds like a guy that got drunk and fell down and smashed his face on the ground and then had to come up with a cool story for his girlfriend and the cops who showed up at the scene and found him passed out drunk. Oh, it was MAGA guys. It was a couple of MAGA guys with rope, and they were screaming, this is DeSantis country, and just beat the shit out of me. If I'd have had him an open carry, they'd be dead. Yeah, sure.
You're fucking killing me.
Was he carrying?
I guess. I don't know.
He's not carrying good enough because he wasn't able to use it. And did they bring him to the hospital carrying it? Because I get those cases all the time.
I had him pull the curtain. I didn't want to deal with it.
Shut that guy up. I'm going to go beat him up again. Those are the only thing that are worse to me. The only thing that are worse than the people who don't know the law were the ones who know it and they don't like it. So they claim that they do whatever they want. So, for example, somebody put on one of the Facebook questions the other day, can you carry your firearm on your person when you're dropping your kid off at school? And the very first response was, why do we keep letting them dictate to us what we could do? If we all showed up to school carrying our guns, they can't arrest all of us and violate all of our civil rights. Why do we keep rolling over for this stuff? Right.
Violate all of our civil rights.
Right. So I, of course, put on there, take this, you'll need it. And, of course, it was a picture of my business card. And everybody was laughing at it. And then he got on there and was giving me grief. He's like, oh, I don't need it. I'm perfectly fine. And then somebody says, well, of course they can violate our rights. Like they'll arrest everybody that shows up on a school with firearms. And
I'm tired of them violating my rights to snort cocaine. Right. If we all snorted cocaine,
you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay lawyers and be out all this money. And this is what the guy says. There are plenty of pro bono lawyers out there who would take a case like this in order to protect our Constitution. And so my position was, okay, then put your freedom where your mouth is then. Walk onto a freaking school campus, carrying your firearm, let everybody know you got it, get arrested, go find one of these pro bono attorneys out there who are going to take your case for free and fight this shit all the way up to the Supreme Court. We all know he's never going to do that. He's just going to sit on his keyboard and be like, they are ruining our rights. We need to do something about this. Put your freaking freedom where your mouth is. He's never going to do that. These people are constantly on there doing that, though. Why are you guys sheep? Why don't you? I carry wherever I want. I don't care what anybody says. You know goddamn well that guy's not carrying a firearm in a school. You know he's not carrying a firearm in a Lightning game or whatever. He's following the rules like everybody else is. He's just talking smack on the Facebook. So anyway,
yesterday was like my first day carrying, and like I've been naked for like the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I haven't left the house, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, that's true. You can be naked in your house with your firearm. I don't know where you'd carry it. Oh, well.
I see
anyway.
Today, somebody was telling me something about their Keltec P3AT or whatever. It's like, whatever. You obviously know more about this than I do. Oh, I got a good one for you. So after we get off camera, remind me to tell you. So my kid, here's something for you. My kid was out in LA last week for the nationals for the academic pentathlon. All right. And very proud of him and all the kids at the school. They finished like a combined 6th in the country or something like that. He finished 7th in the nation in history. And he's in 6th grade competing on the 7th grade team, and their 7th graders are competing on the 8th grade team. Mm-hmm. And we were shocked to find out that schools they were competing against in Florida, because they won the states, have this competition as a class. So they teach the competition, right? And because these kids are only doing 20 minutes.
Extracurricular. Right. Yeah.
At lunch twice a week.
Right.
And then we get out there. So I couldn't go, obviously. And then Nyland took them. And out there, they're finding out that there's schools in California and Arizona, middle schools, that are set up just to teach this competition.
Right.
And these schools feed high schools for what they have, the academic decathlon. they feed them, and then from there, these guys get into high-end engineering schools is what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like I'd never even heard of this until like 3 months ago. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
So they're bringing in, yeah. So they're bringing in ringers.
well, I guess it's for real,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Some people take it seriously, I guess. Well, how they
yeah,
do against those teams?
they finished, like I said, I think it was combined. They finished like six in the nation or something like that. Like they didn't,
Okay.
the teams
That's good.
didn't break the top three to get medals, but a
Right.
lot of the individual kids finished like fourth, fifth, sixth.
Oh,
Like
good.
Gabriel finished seventh. He
Oh,
finished
wow. In
seventh
the
in
nation. That's
history,
good.
ninth in literature, and 14th in math in his division in the nation. So,
Fantastic.
and all the other kids even better than that. So it's, they did very well. And then I tell you what, the teacher, the coach, she had some great lines because Nyland was sending them to me. So they show up and these kids, like these guys are playing in the pool, running around, stuff like that. The other teams are having study groups right in like all this other
Sure.
stuff. And she yelled at him and said, "Don't get intimidated now. You've been kicking their butts all year. Now you just need to do it to their faces,"
Right.
which I thought was pretty good, you know. But so, what's the Army doing with the military or whatever
Oh,
with
yeah,
their?
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, as we all know, Memorial Day is coming up. Well, there's two very important things coming up in the next couple of days. Memorial Day, which is, of course, celebrated on Monday this week. So everybody should get a 3-day weekend. That's on the 29th of May. However, did you know that the actual Memorial Day is May 30th? So it's one of those holidays where it has a day, but the vacation day rotates depending on how the schedule falls. So it's very important for everybody to know Monday is the observed holiday. Tuesday is actually May 30th. Why that's important is because May 30th is my birthday, and I'm turning 50 this year, so half a century. So just throwing a plug out there for myself. So on Monday, celebrate the troops. On Tuesday, celebrate me.
There it is.
Setting that aside, Memorial Day stuff. The Department of Defense, everybody's favorite, one of the favorite government agencies out there these days, are putting out some new rules for carrying firearms on bases. Now, you being a veteran, I thought maybe you'd have an interesting take on this. Let me run through some of the things that they're proposing here. So, DoD recommends private gun registration, centralized storage, and minimum age to buy on bases. So, this is from Ammo Land. As we witness our armed forces recruitment efforts repeatedly failing drastically short of even minimum maintenance goals, Department of Defense, in its infinite wisdom, now cynically manufactures yet another significant reason for young Americans not to enlist. Under the laughable pretext of, quote, lethal means reduction, a new DoD report called Preventing Suicide in the U.S. Military, Recommendations from the Suicide Prevention and Response Independent Review Committee, you got to love these government committees, consists of a demand for active duty troops to register all privately owned guns, even those troopers who are in possession of valid state-issued CCW permits. This will, of course, immediately bring about a demand on the part of woke base commanders that all privately owned guns, now registered, be subsequently removed from homes, on base or off, of troopers, including officers and NCOs, and locked up for safekeeping within a base armory. Another part of the impending new policy is that 25 is to become the new minimum age for any soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine to privately own any kind of gun. 25. Minimum
So
age for soldiers,
they
sailors, airmen, or Marines to privately own any kind of gun, even when the trooper already has a valid concealed carry permit.
so
And it
you can
says,
trust
so
them
we
on a
put, good.
battlefield, but
Yep.
not in their home.
That's
It's
what the
like
next
this.
paragraph says. So yeah. So we put into the hands of 18-year-olds automatic weapons that we don't teach them to use because they're all too busy attending transgender sensitivity classes, and then prohibit them from obtaining nor trading with their own weapons. Even when troopers reach the age of 25, in the unlikely event they're still around, guns that they do privately own, they can't keep with them, as all guns must be locked up and under the control of the base commander. So there you go. So
No,
there's the main three recommendations are register every private gun that you own. You can't possess a private gun until you're 25, even if you have a valid concealed carry permit. And all the guns must be stored at a central storage location run by the base commander. Well, so what do you
yeah.
think about that in this Memorial Day, Mr. Veteran?
Here's the deal. Like when I was at Campbell, I think we had to store any like POWs, like privately owned weapons in the arms room. I knew we couldn't have them in the barracks, right? What what people do in their own homes, like on post,
Right.
like I don't think they have the right for that. I mean, that's just, and the whole thing is now with the age limit of 25. Like,
Right.
how do they justify that? Because if that's the case, then let's not give anyone in the military a weapon until they're 25. I don't
Well,
understand it.
I guess the theory would be that if they only have the weapon when they're in the field or in training and there's other armed people around, the commanders are there, sergeants, whatever, they're not going to commit suicide. But if they're at home alone, away from all those people, they will commit suicide. As I guess the only theory.
How about you just fucking take care of the fucking people in the military
Right. How
and
about have a
stop,
better VA system to
right?
give help to people that might need it?
Or treat the
Or
military like it's military, not some
right.
fucking freak show.
Or you're supposed to weed those. Well, on the front end, you should theoretically weed those people out through application process, boot camp, et cetera, et cetera. Now, maybe there may be some people who come back from serving overseas that have some PTSD or mental health issues or whatever, and then you provide them with the services. I don't think the remedy obviously is to deprive them of their rights. But yeah, 25. You see that a lot with the 21 law now. That's something that gun people like us always say is, well, wait a minute, if you're 18, you can serve the country and be handed a rifle and go off to war, but you can't go buy your own hunting rifle at the local gun store. The response you always get from the anti-gunners is, well, yeah, because those guys have been trained to use those firearms. They're only issued those firearms during times of war. They don't have them on their own, and they're supervised at all times when they have those firearms. So that's the justification that they always give. It's not about their mental capacity to be able to handle it. It's about the government training and supervision while they have those firearms will keep them in check. Whereas out in the civilian world, there ain't none of that. That's what they always come back and say.
Yeah, they're so
Right.
smart. That's like saying this. That's like me being a driver for, say, like a colonel, and I drive him around all day long, and then I'm not allowed to buy a car or get a driver's license until I turn 25.
Right. Well, but right, as long as you're always driving it with the colonel behind you and the military
I'm
trained you
supervised
to
and I'm
use
trained.
that car, correct, and you're only using it under authorized times and supervision, that you are correct. That's exactly what that's like. And your
It's
car You can't buy a car until you're 25, and if you do buy a car, it has to be stored at the base commander's parking garage at all times.
It's funny, when I was probably 22 years old, I had, through the military, I had a valid driver's license for 4 different continents.
Mm-hmm.
So United States, Europe, Africa, and Asia. And I couldn't parallel park. So there's all your military training.
I don't know. Like who knows? It's like anything else. They commission a study. They do this weird study. They come up with all these weird conclusions. We all know that they started with a goal, which is to outlaw private ownership of firearms on bases, because they can control the military bases. It's like passing the vaccine rule. They can control the vaccines with military people because it's part of their thing. They can't do it with civilians, so they start with the military. So it's the same thing here. What they're recommending, which is the private registration of all firearms, they're starting with the military because they have control over that, and they can kind of pass those rules while they're on the base. So they started with the military, hoping that they're going to get it out to civilians. So whenever you want to see what, in my opinion, whenever you want to see what the government really would like to do to civilians, you look at what they do to military people or government employees because they have control over them. So they started with the end goal, which is to store all firearms in a local place, not let anybody have privately owned firearms and wait until they're 25. And then they go back and do this bullshit study to find the conclusions to justify the goal that they wanted, as opposed to starting with the study and seeing where it led them and then making recommendations that are logical based on that study. So they just wanted to get rid of privately owned firearms on bases, and they're doing it with this horse crap.
Yep.
That's all that happened. I'm interested to see. Now, it does say that it's recommendations. It says that it's a DOD recommendations. It doesn't seem to indicate right now. It's not a rule. Like, it's not, what do you call those? Would you call them general orders, or what? I don't know what you would call those when there's like a DOD rule that goes out. So it's not a rule. They commissioned the study. This is their recommendation of the study. So everybody's kind of waiting to see if they're going to implement it or not implement it. But that's basically where we're at. It'll be interesting because I don't know how many people.
Stop fucking the troops over.
Right. Yeah, do a study on how to prevent them from being depressed to want to commit suicide in the first place, not how to take their guns away because you think. I mean, I saw Full Metal Jacket. They can kill themselves and other people with their own issued firearm. They don't need to get their own privately owned one. I don't know.
When I was in Germany, one of our cooks sprayed oven cleaner down his throat. Not having a gun didn't stop him from doing that.
Right. Well, I've found, when I was a prison guard, we found guys that were dead that committed suicide. They found a way. They tie bags over their head. They tie sheets around their neck and hang themselves from the top bunk. Like, where there's a will, there's a way. You don't need to have a firearm. And I would assume the military people are trained to be resourceful and use other things besides their firearm for attack, defense, as weapons. I mean, I'm pretty sure they can figure it out if they want to. But I don't know. I mean, the problem is they're having, as they point out in there, they're already having these huge low recruitment rates. Like they're so far behind, they can't keep any in the military because of all the woke stuff that's going on, the sensitivity training, all that kind of stuff like that. And so nobody wants to be in the military. They're also made fun of and put down by the AOCs, the world, or whatever. So nobody wants to do it anymore. And then you turn around and say, now we're going to add all these other stupid things on there. They force the vaccine. Like, nobody wants to sign up anymore. Meanwhile, Russia and China are just, recruiting people like crazy and building new ships. And we're taking firearms away from the people who we hired to use firearms and telling them that they have to learn about how to be nice to their transgender bunkmate. Like it's weird as shit. Weird. I don't know.
It's a messed up world that we live in.
Maybe Trump or DeSantis will fix all that if one of them gets in.
I don't think they could do worse.
They certainly couldn't. They certainly couldn't.
You know. All right, what else we got to talk about?
You ready to bail out? Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll bail out.
Doing well.
We'll bail out, man. Thanks for toughing it out. I know you got some injuries kind of going on. You're not feeling real healthy, so thanks for plugging in and toughing it out. Hopefully next week you'll be better. Next week is the first Thursday of the month. I'll check with Cindy to make sure that she's available, and
awesome.
Maybe we'll get back on track with the normal first Wednesday of the month. That will be after the ban passes, so we will remind everybody again next Thursday that you're a felon, so they can backtrack some of their stuff. I think I probably said Wednesday. I don't know. First Tuesday of the month, first Wednesday of the month. I don't know.
Oh,
y'all know when to be here. Every Thursday, 8-ish, Frontside Press, Mike and Jeff. Like, share, and subscribe on the Facebook page. Like, share, and subscribe on Musings with MGL. If you got to do a little bit of research to find it on YouTube, that's fine. Or just go to your Google and type in as she has in here, YouTube/@ Musings with MGL. Find my YouTube channel. Please subscribe / whatever. They can figure it out. If you can't, message me on Facebook and say, where the hell's your address? And then I'll send it to everybody. So we'll see you next Thursday. Happy Memorial Day. I don't know if that's the proper phrase. I always thought that was weird, but I'll say it. Happy Memorial Day. Give respect to the fallen troops. Have fun with your families. Enjoy your barbecue, your day off. And remember, it's brought to you by those who have gave all for this country. And we will see you next Thursday.
Happy birthday, brother.